is up, YouTube family? How in the heck have you guys been? I've been bored. Hashtag quarantine. Anyway, so today I'm going to be making dinner and I'm just gonna bring you guys along because I ain't got nothing else to do. Hubby is at work and of course I can't work when he's at work, so you're stuck with me in the kitchen today. I am not taking my kids anywhere, so no dumpster diving. Sorry. But hopefully tomorrow my mother-in-law is gonna take the girls so I can work during the day and probably into the evening, and then I'll go do some dumpster diving. So look out for that video if I find anything. Today I figured I have been dying for, do you ever go to TGI Fridays and they have that, the smothered chicken skillet, or the cheesy chicken skillet I think it's called, and it's like cheesy chicken. I wanted to say something else, it just didn't come out. It's just grilled chicken essentially, and they have like peppers and onions on it, and then they take the cheese and it gets like real crispy, like burnt kind of from being in the skillet, and homemade mashed potatoes with cheese on those as well. And I think they put green onions. We don't like green onions. But I was like, I want to make this because I'm hungry for it, and obviously we can't go to Fridays and get food. A, because I'm broke, and B, because it's only takeout. And by the time you get it home, it's cold and not good. So that's the problem, because we don't have one close to us. So last night, I took out some cheapo frozen chicken breasts and let them thaw in my fridge. And I poured some Italian dressing. Oh, it smells so good. I've never used Walmart Italian dressing. Walmart, let me tell you, they're stepping up their game. This Italian dressing tastes just like, what's the expensive stuff I use? Oh Lord. I forget what it's called. But anyway, I normally get like the more expensive kind, or the Olive Garden. Well, I only have a little bit of Olive Garden left, and I want to make a salad. So we're going to use that for salad, and ranch, of course. And Walmart's ranch, is this Walmart's? Oh no, this is Aldi's ranch. This is really good too. Usually we are Hidden Valley people, but this is pretty good. So anyway, back to what I was saying. I'm gonna make that tonight with homemade mashed potatoes, a salad, and I made bread. I made a big old thing of Italian bread last night because my family loves Italian bread. So I was like, well, it only takes like an hour and a half, I'll make some. So this sucker was huge. Look at how big that was. And yes, we ate both ends. I don't know, don't ask. But this isn't gonna be enough because my kids will eat 2 pieces, my husband will eat 2 huge pieces, and I'll eat 1 piece and then it's gone. I figure I'll use that, and don't mind my children in the background. They're playing a game on their iPad and Ava gets frustrated and screams. Fun times. But that isn't gonna be enough, so I figure I was just watching on YouTube the WODs. I don't know if you've ever watched them, but Kim, it's her channel. She's a mama, I think, of 4, and she was making 30-minute dinner rolls today. And I was like, oh snap, stealing her recipe. So we're gonna try and make 30-minute dinner rolls also. And then I'm gonna do this cheesy chicken skillet and see how it turns out. Hopefully it does. That's what we're gonna do. So come along with us today and let's cook this dinner. All right, so I am gonna get started on my cheesy chicken skillet. I'm so excited. And yes, yesterday I was in a tank top, and today it's like 30 degrees out and it was snowing. So now I'm in a sweatshirt. So yeah, I got my water on for my potatoes. I got my dumpster green peppers that I'm gonna cut up. I also got some onions in here I need to use up because they're starting to go bad. I'm gonna wash up some potatoes, get those cut up for mashed potatoes and peel them. And then get the chicken going. So let's get started. And don't mind all my clean dishes in the sink. They're clean. I cleaned my house today, but I haven't put the dishes away because I hate doing dishes. I hate putting dishes away. I just hate anything about dishes. Give me a like if you can feel me on that, because the dishes are overwhelming, guys. I'm over it. So I took my chicken out of the fridge. It's still sitting in the Italian dressing, just marinating, but I didn't want it to be freezing cold when I put it in the pan. So I'm gonna clean up these potatoes, get them peeled and cut up, and then start my mashed potatoes. So let's go. And yeah, I still wash them even though I'm peeling them. I don't know why, I've just always done that. Let me know, do you wash your potatoes before you peel them? Or do you peel them then wash them? I wash them twice. Am I weird? Am I the only one? I don't know. I just don't like touching all that dirt, you know what I mean? I'm not making a ton because my family is not one that eats a lot of leftovers. And I'm tired of throwing food away. Like my husband is the worst one. He will not eat leftovers. Like he'll eat them one day later and then after that he's done. So I am Italian, obviously, because I'm always talking with my hands. And I just cook so much food because I'm always worried, like, is there gonna be enough? So I've had to change up my cooking style a little bit because now that I'm not working, I mean, I'm working, but I'm not making nearly as much money as I used to at my new job. So I just wanna watch making so much food and throwing it away because that's a waste. So what I'm doing now is just cutting my portions down and making sure that if we have leftovers, it's only 1 day worth of leftovers, and that way it gets eaten and not thrown in the garbage. You know what I'm saying? I'm still learning about that though. It's hard. Don't get me wrong, it's hard. When you're used to cooking a certain way, it's hard. This peeler, I'm telling you, if you go to Dollar General, get this peeler. It was $2. Who makes it? Good cook. This thing is amazing. So all my potatoes are cut up, and now I have a pot of water boiling. I'm gonna salt it, not a ton, just a little, and pop our potatoes in it without burning myself. So while my potatoes are on, I'm gonna get my onion cut up and my green pepper. I'm just gonna use 1 medium-sized onion and 1 green pepper. I don't like green peppers. My kids don't like green peppers. My husband does. But I like the flavor it gives to my food, but I don't like eating peppers. I know, I'm weird. I don't know. Don't ask. We are gonna get these chopped up, and then we're gonna saute these with some olive oil and some salt, pepper, garlic seasoning, and fresh garlic if you have it and want to use it, and the secret ingredient, Italian dressing. I'm not gonna cut my onions real small because my kids won't eat them, and actually I don't eat them either. But again, I like the flavor they give the food. So I'm gonna cut them pretty big, that way I can pick them out of the girls' food and mine. And then you're gonna get your cast iron skillet and get that heating up under a medium-high flame. And you're gonna do about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And let that heat up while we finish cutting our onions and pepper. Same thing with the peppers. I'm not gonna cut them super small because that way I can pick them out of the food. We're not going for looks here, people. I don't know, I guess they're about 1 inch in length, but you cut yours however you want. You can add whatever vegetables you want. If you don't like onions and peppers, just leave them out. So now we're gonna get this sauteing in our cast iron skillet. I'm gonna throw in a little bit of salt and pepper, and we're gonna let these cook for a little bit before we add in our Italian dressing. So some pepper, a little bit of salt, and I'm gonna do garlic powder and fresh minced garlic. About half a teaspoon. So I'm gonna let these finish cooking until they're almost translucent and like tender if you would bite into it. And then right before we get to that point, I'm gonna add in about a half a cup of our Italian dressing. And then we'll start the next step and I'll bring you. I totally lied to you. I'm not using a half a cup. I'm only using, for our veggies, I'm only using 2 tablespoons of this Italian dressing. I said a half a cup. I don't know where I got that from. So you want them to be charred. You want them to have this, see how they're charred looking and it almost looks like they're burnt, but they're not. This is what you want them to look like. So we're gonna let this finish cooking with the Italian dressing on it, and then we're gonna set the vegetables aside and get our chicken started. So I took my veggies out and they are perfect. This is what you want them to look like, a little charred, not burnt. So while I was putting my veggies in there, I also preheated my oven to 400 degrees. I put my cast iron back on the stove. We're gonna add 2 more tablespoons of oil to the pan and we're gonna get our chicken started. You're gonna sear it on both sides for only 2 minutes. We are not cooking this chicken the whole way through because I'm gonna finish it in the oven. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. We already have the Italian dressing that's gonna be going in this, so you don't wanna overly season it too much because it'll just be too much, I think. A little bit of garlic powder, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of paprika. Just for a little color. I just spilled toothpicks everywhere. Son of a bitch. We'll get those later. You want your chicken to have a nice dark brown sear on both sides. I think I'm gonna let mine cook for about 3 minutes on each side instead of 2 because you want it to have a nice char on it. So I'm gonna let these cook for 3 minutes on each side and then I'll bring you back and show you the next step. So our chicken is about done. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna deglaze the pan, which you're gonna take your chicken out and just go ahead and set them in the same container that your onions and peppers are. We're gonna pour some Italian dressing in the pan, let it cook down a little bit while stirring it. That way it gets all the flavors that have cooked into the pan and all the little bits of chicken. That's where all your flavor is, so you don't wanna get rid of that. It is like a lot of extra steps, but I promise you it's worth it. All right, so now you can see all of that goodness in there. So let's dump some Italian in there and deglaze it. And then you just want to stir it to get all those little bits up. And then we're going to put our chicken and vegetables back in here. And then we're going to put this directly into our oven for about 25 to 35 minutes, depending upon how long it takes the chicken to cook. So I'm going to turn the heat off, and we're going to pour our chicken and vegetables back in there, and our oven is just now done being preheated. And then just cover it with all the peppers and onions. All right. We're going to just pop this straight into our oven for 25 to 35 minutes until obviously the chicken is cooked. I don't know how long it's going to take. I've never made this recipe. It's my first time, but it sounded dang good, didn't it? All right, so we're going to pop that right on in there. Then once that is done, we're going to take it out, take our chicken and veggies, set them aside, and then we're going to make that yummy cheese that they make at TGI Fridays where it's all crispy on the bottom and like burnt almost, but it's not. But I mean, I love burnt cheese. I think it tastes amazing. I don't know who's with me on this. But we're gonna take it, and all you need to do is just put some olive oil in that pan, and then get your shredded cheddar cheese out, or Monterey Jack, whatever you want to use. After you put the olive oil in and it comes up to temperature, you're going to just sprinkle your cheese in there, and it's gonna make that nice ooey gooey cheese. It's gonna get all melty on the top, but on the bottom, it's gonna be like TGI Fridays cheesy chicken is gonna be. Like when it comes out all brown and bubbly and super good. Yeah. It has been 25 minutes and our chicken is done. Cooked it in about 20 minutes and it was cooked, but I wanted to leave it in the extra 5 just to make sure. Oh my God, guys. Look at this wonderfulness, right? Now I'm gonna take the chicken out, and we are going to put some oil in the bottom of the pan, let it heat up on the stove, then we're gonna put our cheese on the bottom to make it all crispy and brown and melty and yummy. Remember not to touch your what is this thing called? A pan? Because it's gonna be hot, and I've done it before and burnt my fingers. So we're just gonna take our chicken out and all of the sauce as well. I'm gonna put it separate because my kids don't like sauce on their chicken. I've made this before, but I've never done the cheese before, so I mean, I make Italian chicken all the time like this, but I've never ever tried it with melting the cheese in the cast iron skillet, so I'm excited about that. I'm gonna just put it on like a medium heat, and you're gonna do like 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil, because you want your cheese to be able to come out. You don't want it all to be stuck to that pan. So the olive oil will make sure so that once the cheese is cooked, it will come out easily. I got tons of cheese that I'm gonna put down. Hopefully this works out. I gotta remember not to touch this. This should be a nice big pain in the butt to clean later, but I think it'll be worth it, so it's okay. And then next we're gonna make the 30-minute dinner rolls that I seen Kim make on the wads earlier today, and we're gonna give that a whirl. Then what you wanna do is you're gonna add your chicken back on top. That way the cheese is melted onto your chicken. And then you're just gonna let this cook for about 3 to 5 minutes until it's all nice and ooey gooey. Ooey gooey, that's a good word for today. I think I've said it 30 times. And then I have my mashed potatoes in here that have been staying warm in the microwave. So you serve that on the side with some butter on the potatoes, and like I said, you can even do this with the potatoes. Put cheese down in your cast iron skillet, put your potatoes on it, and then you'll have cheesy mashed potatoes too. That would be so good. I think I'll do mine like that and my husband's, but I know the girls won't eat it like that. And then we're gonna have a salad with tons of veggies in it to get some veggies in the girls because they love salads. And we're gonna make those 30-minute dinner rolls next. I'll show you what this looks like when it's all done, then we'll start on the rolls. Here is the finished chicken. You got all that nice, yummy, burnt cheese on the top. Let's taste it. Oh my God. This is so good. This really has a very good taste to it. It honestly reminds me of TGI Fridays cheesy chicken skillet. That's a winner. I also have all this yummy sauce I saved. This does make quite a mess of your cast iron skillet, I'm not gonna lie. Not all the cheese came out, as you can see. That's gonna be fun to wash. But that's okay, it's okay. It still tastes amazing, that's all that matters. So I'm not gonna do my mashed potatoes like that. If I want cheese on them, I'm just gonna put it on and melt it in the microwave. Lesson learned. But now we are going to make Kim from the Wads 30-minute dinner rolls. I don't have any bread flour left, so we're gonna use all-purpose. So if you guys don't have bread flour, don't sweat it. I'm using all-purpose too. Let's do this. I'm gonna put my chicken back in the microwave with our mashed potatoes so everything stays nice and warm. And we're gonna get started on 30-minute dinner rolls. So you need 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons of warm water. Not hot, but warm. Yes, my sink's a hot mess. I know. I ain't worried about it. I'll figure it out after I'm done. So 1 cup and 2 tablespoons of warm water. 1 cup. 1, 2. Guess it would help if I put you down so you could see what I was doing, huh? That would make sense, Shannon. And then you need 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. 2 tablespoons of yeast. And 1/4 cup of sugar. So we're gonna let that rest for 15 minutes, and then when we come back, we're going to add 1½ teaspoons of salt, 1 egg, and 3½ cups of flour. Then you're gonna form it into balls, let it rest for 10 minutes, and then you bake it in a 400-degree oven for 10 minutes. So let's see how this goes. I am gonna stir this up though, because all the sugar is sitting in one spot. So we wanna mix it all around. I mean, her rolls looked amazing. So I have high hopes for these. So I'll bring you back in 15 minutes. I'm gonna set my timer so I don't forget about this. We'll do 14 because I've been talking for a minute. And then we will put our flour and salt and our egg in. Sorry for my children screaming in the background. Then we'll form it into balls, let it rest, and pop them in the oven. It has been 15 minutes and look at that. Now that is some foamy stuff. To this, we are going to add 1½ teaspoons of salt, 1½ 1 egg, and 3½ cups of flour. Like I said, if you have bread flour, use that. I don't. So there's 1/2. 1, 2, and 3. And then it says stir it around and then form it into balls. So let's get to stirring. Sticky. Maybe it would have been different if I would have added bread flour. I don't know. Maybe I didn't add all 3 cups. I thought I did. I won't know until I edit this video. So not quite sure what happened there. But you guys should know by now that this is normal for me. I'm no chef, no Paula Deen here, guys. We're gonna spray our baking dish so your rolls don't stick. You're gonna form them into balls and then let them rest for 10 minutes. And then we will pop them in the oven. I'm not exactly sure how many this made. I forgot to look to see how many it made. Well, I mean, I watched it, but I forgot to look. About that size seems good to me. I don't think I've ever in my life made this much homemade things ever. Like since this quarantine started, I have been baking homemade cakes. I mean, you name it, I'm making it homemade. Anybody else feel like that too? Or is it just me? I mean, I'm down for it because I have the time. I guess before I just didn't have as much time, so obviously that would be why I didn't do this before. All right, so it looks like we get 8 rolls out of this, which is perfect for my family. So if you have a bigger family, obviously double this. All right, so we're gonna let this sit for 10 minutes, covered. Set my timer for 10 minutes, and we will come back and then pop them in the oven. It's been 10 minutes. My timer just went off. These did rise a little bit. So 400-degree oven, we're gonna set our timer for 10 minutes and let those bad boys cook. Again, I am talking to you guys and I didn't push record. So after 10 minutes, they were nowhere near done. So I had to actually leave them in for 16 minutes. Now they look good. Look at those. Oh my goodness. Yes, child. Now I took a tablespoon of butter and just melted it in my microwave. So we're just going to pour this, not pour it, but brush it on the rolls. Oh my gosh. These look fantastic. Yeah, I think these are going to be my go-to dinner rolls from now on for sure. So if you guys do anything from this video, make Kim's rolls. These might be the prettiest rolls I've ever made. And here's the finished rolls. Look at those, guys. How good do those look, right? So depending on your oven, you know, my oven took a little bit longer than what hers did, but everybody's ovens are different. So that's it, guys. We are gonna get dinner started. I'm gonna make up a salad and get the girls' dinner plates ready. It is already 4:30, so time for dinner in this household. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me in this Dumpster Divers kitchen. I appreciate every last one of you, and hopefully you try these recipes, and if you do, let me know in the comments down below, or shoot me an email with a picture of you making it, because I love getting emails like that from you guys. It totally makes my day. So thank you guys so much again, and as always, happy diving, happy cooking, and happy baking. Bye, guys. All right, Miss Ava, you said you tried the chicken. What do you think? Thumbs up? Yeah? What about the rolls? Did you try it?
I kind of like it.
You don't like it? Okay. What about the rolls? Let's try the rolls. Yummy. 10 out of 10. Awesome.
I'm really out of it.
How about you, Kai Kai? What do you think of the rolls? Yay, 10 out of 10. Say bye, YouTube.
Bye.